Welcome to Salesology, conversations with sales leaders, the art of faster, easier, more profitable sales. When you're ready to transform your sales for today's transforming market, we've got you covered with your host, the queen of cold calling and founder of Salesology, award-winning author, speaker, sales trainer, and coach, Wendy Weiss.
Hi, welcome to Salesology, conversations with sales leaders, the art of faster, easier, more profitable sales. And I'm your host, Wendy Weiss. I am the founder of Salesology, creator of the Salesology prospecting method. I'm also known as the queen of cold calling. And today, my very special guest is Ben Filkouski. He is a partner at Madison Commercial Real Estate. And Ben actually graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 2018. And then after he graduated, he worked for Gold Leaf Development, which is a multifamily developer in Dane County. And that's where he got his real estate license. And then in September of 2019, Ben joined Madison Commercial Real Estate. And since joining Madison Commercial Real Estate, he's become a partner with the firm. Let me just say that again. September 2019 is when he joined the firm. He is now a partner. And that's when also he had obtained his real estate broker's license. He earned his certified commercial investment member designation. And right now, Ben serves on the board of Commercial Brokers Group Incorporated, which is a commercial real estate organization out of Madison, Wisconsin. And this organization recognizes top deals completed annually. Ben has won, this is very impressive, Ben has won Land Deal of the Year in 2021 and Overall Deal of the Year in 2021. And then 2022, Industrial Deal of the Year, Land Deal of the Year in 2024. He's also an active member in the Commercial Association of Realtors in Wisconsin, where he was formerly on the NextGen Committee. And he was runner-up for the Industrial Deal of the Year for the state of Wisconsin in 2022. He's also an active member with Smart Growth Madison, which is a real estate development, lobbying, and networking organization. Okay, I'm impressed. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you, Wendy.
I am
Wow,
very
quite
happy
the
you're
accolade
here.
once you list them all out.
Yeah, it sounds good, right?
Oh man, we've
Yeah.
been the last couple of years here in Madison.
I'm sorry, say that again.
We've been busy the last couple
You've
of
been
years here
busy.
in Madison.
That is good news. So I have to ask you, what made you go into real estate? What's the backstory?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually tried really hard not to join into the real estate community. My family has been building apartments in the Madison area since the 90s. And so I grew up in the business. And while learning a ton about the business, I always thought that I would venture away from it. And from learning all different sides of the business, putting a deal together, construction, sales, I really, really became intrigued in quarterbacking that type of situation, putting a deal together, making sure that it goes smoothly, dealing with multiple different sides of the deal, attorneys, engineers, you name it, city professionals. And that's when I really fell in love with real estate, is when I got into the brokerage side of things. And then once I did my first deal, I was working at Madison Commercial Real Estate. It's 100% commission. It's an absolute grind. And once I had completed my first deal after starting, I just became addicted to it, getting to know people, understanding how businesses operate, figuring out their needs, helping them grow. And that's what really became the most satisfying, is seeing my clients grow and helping them along the way. And so that kind of became my why. And I've hit the ground running ever since and really haven't stopped.
No, well, you've accomplished a lot. I am curious though, what did you think you'd be doing since you didn't want to go into real estate initially? What did you think you'd be doing?
Yeah, I always thought I was going to do something more arts related. Um, I enjoy creative thinking, I enjoy writing, and what I realized is creative thinking and writing is quintessential to uh, being a proper salesman, for lack of a better term.
That is true. That's really true. Um, so I want to ask you, it seems like you are a master networker. Like I read off, when I introduced you, there were all the organizations that you belong to. And was that a learned skill for you, or that was just something that you kind of instinctively knew how to do, or you knew that from your family background that that was something that was a good thing for you to be doing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So growing up, I was, you know, you show up to parent teacher conferences with your parents. I was always the Ben does fine in school, but he's distracting, or Ben's getting good grades, but he's talking a lot. And so for me, I just enjoy people, and other people bring me energy. And so networking has been one of those things that has just come naturally. I think it's just a part of uh, being a type A personality, and just getting out there and being genuinely interested in what other people are up to and how you could maybe work together. Or maybe it's just somebody that you get along with that you aren't ever going to do a real estate transaction with, but are they're your good friend, or maybe they have friends that they'll introduce you to. And so it really stems from, just growing up being that talkative person that likes to get to know people and being genuinely curious about others. And then fast forward into a professional career, I was never the best at sitting behind a desk, taking orders, working at the computer. I've always thrived from being out and about and being social and being very active on different sports teams and things of that nature. And so when I got into the business, one of my mentors said, hey, you should go out to, XYZ networking event and get so that people can get to know who you are, because that's who you're going to be working with every day. And I really took that to heart, and then really thought about, that's when I really started thinking about, okay, what is my why? What is my story? How am I going to portray myself to others? And once I really thought about that and kind of navigated those waters in my mind, I was able to take advantage of, you go to a networking event, there's a couple hundred people there. Well, I'm not looking to meet 100 people or 150 people. I'm looking to have 4 to 5 super genuine conversations. And maybe it's with somebody that I've been trying to get in front of that I haven't been able to, or maybe it's catching up with somebody that I already know. But through that, it's allowed me to stay top of mind, so that when someone does have a need in the world of commercial real estate, they give me a call, or they send an email introduction randomly, or what have you. So I've found, you know, you're the queen of cold calling. I guess I'm more of a networking type of guy. I like to get out and be in front of people. So
Okay. So I know that one of the questions that I asked you uh, in preparation for this interview was about wins that you and your team have had in the past year. And one of the things that you said is you've grown your team, you brought on 2 new associates. And, one of the things I hear a lot, I have a lot of clients in commercial real estate. I hear how hard it is to hire. I hear that in other industries too, that it's really hard to find the right fit people. So I'm curious, when you're looking to bring on new associates, what exactly are you looking for? Like, what are the traits?
Yeah, it's a it's a good question. So we are not as merit focused. We will take interviews and are interested in professionals that have experience. We're interested in young professionals that have no experience at all. We're looking for the ability to get out there and communicate properly what you're looking for, who we're trying to meet, what sort of opportunities do you want to pursue. If you're running a commercial real estate business, what does that look like to you? We're asking those type of questions and really getting a feel for the type of person that we're interviewing or pursuing, because coming into the world of commercial real estate, it's a lot of time, energy, and resources spent on an individual before they are profitable for your organization. Because it's such a long game, it takes brokers 1, 2, 3 years to really break through and gain a share of the market. And so we're looking for, that personality piece and then also that drive. How has this individual been self-motivated in the past, whether that be through athletics, whether that be through different hobbies, just really getting a feel for who the candidate or person is overall, so that when it comes time to make the decision, are we going to give this individual a shot or not? We are feeling confident that they're able to learn from their mistakes. They're able to take no as an answer. They're able to get beaten up a little bit at the beginning of their career to really break through. And at the end of the day, brokerage is it's kind of a life. You kind of have to live the lifestyle of a broker. You have to be willing to go above and beyond. You do have the freedom of making your own schedule, but what does your schedule look like? Taking meetings, going out to lunches, grabbing coffees, making the calls. You do have to be very regimented in your schedule. And so when we're interviewing a candidate and talking to someone that we're looking to join our organization, that's really what we're looking for. The self-drive, the competitiveness, and the professionalism. So,
And so I'm curious because I know the attrition rate of newly hired salespeople across all industries is extremely high. Most of them are gone in like 3 years. And I know that in your industry, in commercial real estate, it's often even higher than that. And
right.
because it is straight commission, because they do have to be self-motivated, because it is a long sales cycle. And so how do you tell? I'm very curious about this. How do you tell you're interviewing someone? They seem like they're going to be competitive. They seem like they're going to be self-motivated. But I have a client that said to me about the salespeople he hired, the best sales job they ever did was on him to get him to hire them. Sometimes that happens. And so,
Yeah.
what do you look for, and how, what are the markers along the path that tell you, okay, yeah, this is good. This is going to work out, or no, this was a mistake.
So I wouldn't necessarily call this the secret sauce, but we do have a little bit of a system that we have implemented within our organization where we should know within the first month to 6 weeks if somebody's going to work out with us or not. And so we have established a training portal, and our training portal goes through a very diverse set of curriculum that is very real world example of going through a day-to-day broker's life. So it goes through terminology. You're putting together, letter of intents, to purchase, to lease. You're going through and how, like, if I'm doing tenant representation, what does that look like? How am I scheduling my tours? Things of that nature. So we go through, but the thing that we don't tell our new brokers is the amount of time that they should be spending going through this training portal before they are completed with it. So it really should take them 50 to 60 hours. So if we have someone that comes to us and says that they're done with it in 10 or 20 hours, then they probably aren't as detail oriented as we're looking for them to be.
Oh, that's really interesting. Very
So
clever.
so that is one, and that is after they are onboarded. So oftentimes, to get to that point, there's a lot of collaboration between the three broker partners here and our marketing director. We're the four partners of the firm. So there's a lot of communication, conversation about said individual before we make the investment into them. And then once we all do have that, are on the same page and our guts telling us that it's going to work out, then we'll go from there. My mentor, he actually wasn't going to hire me because we didn't have systems like this in place. He had gone through, over the course of 27 years in the business, he had gone through 18 associates that were not working out. That's a lot
That's
of
all?
time. That's almost one a year. That's a
Yeah.
lot of time, energy, and resources, and also splitting of commissions because we bring these younger brokers onto deals with us for someone to not stay committed to the organization. So then I was onboarded. We started thinking more about how to go about this. And since then, we've been able, we have, what is it, 8 associates now. We just brought on 2 more in the last year. And our numbers are showing that the decisions that we've been making are productive for our business. So,
Very cool. So one of the questions that I asked you in preparation for doing this interview, I asked you what drives you crazy about managing salespeople. And your answer was time. It's tough to stop doing what you're doing to answer a question from an associate and then get back to what you were doing. So, how do you manage that?
so I was just recently at a commercial real estate conference in Nashville, that Biz Now magazine puts on, and we go into focus groups, and this was a main topic of conversation within our young leader focus group. Was, I have this intern or I have this associate, and I don't, I feel like I need to be holding their hand or yada yada. And so what we do is we have scheduled meetings, but they're not an hour long. It's 10 minutes, it's 15 minutes. It's quick in and out. But if it's on the schedule, then we plan around it, and we can do it over the phone. We can do it in person. It really doesn't matter. So if I'm driving across town to show a property or what have you, I can quick hop on the phone with the associate and go through whatever it is that they may need.
Okay. I had a conversation just this morning with a client. She manages 4 people that they're not brand new. They've all been around for like a year or two, uh, which is fairly new. And they have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of questions and they call her all day long with questions. And what we decided she's going to do moving forward, because they don't need the attention that they needed on day one. They've been around for a year or two. They should be more self-sufficient. She's going to start having office hours at a set time later in the day so they can write down all their questions throughout the day. So they have a list and they can call her during her office hours. And that's it. That's when she's available. And we're going to try that out and see what happens, because she's getting nothing done because they just call her all day long.
It's similar to what we're doing here, and it helps everyone be more productive, because the younger, newer broker can then continue to go about their day without stressing over one little thing.
Because that one little thing often stops them in their tracks.
Exactly. And, in our industry, it's not uncommon for emails to be responded to 12, 18, 24 hours later. So it's not always if something's at the finish line or at the closing table and we need to scramble and there's a question, that's an emergency. That's a phone call. That's an immediate phone call. That's a little bit different than if we're at more of the beginning stages of a transaction.
Absolutely. So this has been such an interesting conversation, Ben. If people want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
So Instagram or LinkedIn is the best way for sure.
Okay, great. And if you would like to connect with Ben, finish listening to this podcast. And then as soon as you do, Ben's LinkedIn profile is in the show notes. His Instagram is in the show notes. So go to the show notes, click on the link, and you'll be very glad you did. I met Ben on LinkedIn. So connect with Ben on LinkedIn or Instagram, and we will also put the website for Madison Commercial Real Estate in the show notes as well. So check out Madison Commercial Real Estate. And you have been listening to Salesology, Conversations with Sales Leaders, with my very special guest, Ben Filkouski, who is a partner at Madison Commercial Real Estate. And if you have found value in listening to today's podcast, then please think about one business owner, one entrepreneur, one sales leader, somebody that you know that you think might also find value in listening to the podcast. And please do share the link with them. And until we meet again, visualize yourself surrounded by cash, really large bills.
You've been listening to Salesology, Conversations with Sales Leaders, the art of faster, easier, more profitable sales. Be sure to follow so that you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share it with your friends. Tune in every week for more exciting insights and wisdom on transforming sales. And until next time, visualize yourself surrounded by cash, very large bills.